All right, Sean Bormet, 5 questions. Big week this week. Friday, we transition to our first official practice, 20 hours. What does that mean exactly?
Really, it's just a shift in the amount of time, we're training. We're in an 8-hour block up till Friday, and then on Friday it switches to a 20-hour block. So a lot of, preseason stuff. We're just building our conditioning, sort of pushing every energy system and building that up for the course of the season. We're on the mat. We're doing a lot of technical instruction too in those hours, but a little bit longer practices, more technical work. Once we start shifting that 20 hours, just the tempo sort of starts to change a little bit. Practices get, we have more practices on the mat, so they become just a little shorter. We continue to start building minutes, but, sort of the intensity and the speed of some of the things we're doing starts to go up. We still do some conditioning, we still do some lifting. Everything just starts to take a little shift. It's a little more focused on the mat. We're on the mat probably, at least 4 times a week in the afternoon, 1 or 2 individuals in the mornings, and then we still got our lifts and some of our conditioning. So it's always a great shift. Guys are always ready for it, because it also means we're about 3-4 weeks away from competition. So everyone's starting to get excited about that.
Do you kind of sense a change in the room when that shift happens? Is it just a little more elevated?
Yeah, I mean the shift's already happening because
Yeah.
the live minutes of our wrestling are starting to get a lot more competitive, a lot more combative, and we love to see it. And the guys are really starting to compete. That sort of shift, I feel like I see that shift happening when the guys are certifying, and they're getting down to weight, and they're starting to get competitive within their weight classes, and then and then of course the schedule and some of these other things start to come out. So I reminded those guys last week, the guys that are competing in All-Star this was last week, but they were 27 days out from competition. We were 36 days out from Michigan State Open. We're 37 days out from the VMI duel. So, and that's just days. That's not training days. So that, that sort of reality hits, and they continue to ramp up the intensity.
We've got our first big house run tomorrow morning. That's kind of been a long tradition here. It is at a lot of schools. But how valuable is that as part of your training?
Well, we have the biggest and the best stadium. It's also the biggest test. And, we love training there. It sort of breaks up the monotony of being on the mat and being in the room every session. Guys take a lot of pride in that workout. We've been doing that for a long time. And, there's been a lot of legends that have trained in that stadium, whether it's wrestling, football, any other sport here in Michigan. So we love it. It's bright and early, lights are on, it's dark out, and there's you in the steps. And there's a lot of speed and power and endurance we work on. But when you attack that workout the right way, it tests your mind, body, and soul, and you got to squeeze everything out. And basically, I love it because it's just another training tool for us to continue to build some toughness into these guys and resilience, and especially from the time they start, to the time they get all the way through our program, it's just another tool that helps them manage the process of building that mental fortitude they need to win those tough, gritty matches.
We had some schedule-related announcements this week. First up, All-Star Meet. We've got Lackland Wrestling. We've got Tay Wrestling. How excited are you for that event and these guys debut in a Michigan singlet?
Yeah, really excited for these guys. I know they were really pumped to get the invites, and this is at Rutgers, so back out east. We also have a big recruiting weekend that weekend, so our staff will be a little divided, but it's always great to have your guys representing your school in that all-star match and be selected for that. Flow Wrestling always does a great job with that event, so we're pumped for Lackland, pumped for Tay. It'll be their debut in the Michigan singlet, fighting for the Block M, and great matchups too.
National duels. We got our first round opponent, ASU. How do you feel about it?
Forks up. Wolverines will be ready. Always excited for this event. It's been in the works and building for the last 8-9 months. So they had the selection show actually last night. So I like the matchups. I like the fact that we're opening up with a team that's not a Big Ten team, because we're gonna wrestle so many Big Ten teams this year. So we haven't wrestled Arizona State in a while. So I think it's a great dual meet.
We're supposed to.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Old COVID hit.
Yeah, COVID hit that morning. So it'll be great. Great to wrestle Arizona State. We haven't wrestled them in, I don't know what, probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And so we're excited for that first duel, and we're really excited for that event.
And then lastly, we've got Mason getting ready to wrestle the second Real American Freestyle event. We were kind of heavily involved in the first one. What were some of your takeaways from that event, and what are you looking forward to with the next one?
Yeah, that first event, we had several guys. It was down in Cleveland. It was their first event, and new organization, professional league. I think they got some great backing, and they got a huge vision. I was down there for a few days. It's like the build up sort of for the event. And then obviously we had a bunch of guys competing, and I was really impressed with everything they did. I think, in wrestling, we've always at every level, whether it's, youth, high school, college, senior level, international, like America, we've always built great champions at every level of our wrestling, but we just haven't had a professional league for these guys to go on and continue to wrestle and compete in the sport they love and actually make a living doing it. And I think there's been other organizations that have tried this over the last few decades. I do feel like the timing and just the circumstances for this could be different. I'm very optimistic these guys will be very successful. I think they have a certain level of business behind it. They have a very extensive professional network behind it, and they have a great vision and a great model that they're sort of building off of. And I thought the production and sort of what they did with the athletes and the build up and the production around the actual event in arena and on the camera was a level I haven't seen yet in any of our wrestling events. So I'm super excited about this next one to see how this one goes and what kind of adjustments they make and how they improve off this last one. Mason Paris will be competing. He's wrestling Alexander Romanov at heavyweight. So we're excited. I'll be there. Coach Daringer and I will go there with Mason, and super excited to see Mason compete. It's been a while since he's had a freestyle match. He's been back. He's been training really hard. I know he's really excited to get on the mat and compete, especially on this new professional stage.
All right, Sean, thank you. Go Blue.
Go Blue.